And this small package contains the thickest professional wooden finger skateboard that I have tried so far since I've been in the hobby. A couple months back, I ordered this Broken Knuckle Fingerboards 36mm V2 professional setup. In this video, I'm going to set it up and try it out, as well as give my review on the setup, as well as what I think on the wide 36mm setups. I personally am used to either 32mm, sometimes even like 33 or 34mm setups. So this is definitely the widest that I have used so far. And definitely looking at the board already, I can tell it is noticeably a little bit wider than 34mm just by looking at it. And it's got a really cool graphic with the bandit on there. It came with 2 pieces of grip tape. I'm curious if it's going to take both of them since the board's so wide, as well as some instructions and a diagram for the trucks to how to set them up for the new bushings and the V2 trucks. Also shows off all the current graphics that are available over on brokenknucklefingerboards.com. And this is the V2 Pro. There is a V2 Performance, which I think the only difference is going to be the plastic wheels versus this one comes with urethane wheels. The quality of the graphic on this board is really nice, and I always find it satisfying to poke the holes on the graphic where the trucks go. Trying out the grip tape on the board before sticking on there, I found out that it only needs 1 piece for 1 grip job. But I did decide to cut it in 2 pieces down the one side of it long ways, and I'm going to go ahead and do a grip line. And I'm using the piece that is not cut facing inwards, so I get a clean grip line. And I'm just trying to line it up with the screw holes. And then with the second piece, I'm going to do the same thing. The side that was not cut, I'm going to face inwards and just follow the other line all the way through the board. And I'm making sure to go from one side to the other and making sure that it's pressed inside the pockets so the grip tape doesn't peel afterwards. And I'm just using a metal file that is on the holder for my X-Acto blade with the blade pulled out. And I found that this technique works pretty well with most grip tapes that are the foam grip tape type. And this foam grip tape is actually really nice. It seems like it doesn't take too much to cut out. And just going directly down gets pretty much all the foam grip tape as well as the backing, which some of the cheaper backing or foam grip tape that I've gotten on Amazon sometimes leaves behind kind of like a piece of thick plastic. This stuff seems like it doesn't really have that leaves behind, as well as not too much glue. And I'm just going to clean up the rest with the file. Came out pretty nice. With the grip tape on, I'm going to poke holes for the screws that hold the trucks on. And I found that using the screwdriver that comes with the setup works pretty good, poking through the top of the board. And just using my finger on the bottom just to kind of guide where the holes are. And then I come back with a larger Phillips head screwdriver, go back and forth a few times, and it reams it out to make a nice hole for the screws. The trucks that came with this setup are the 36mm V2 trucks, and I've tried the V2 trucks in the 32 and 34mm on some other setups, as well as some of the tech upgrades that I've done on the channel in the past. And I really like these new trucks. These are a great budget option, and they have a bunch of upgrades that they made to these trucks. First off being they're a lot easier to install on the board, and the self-tapping screws I'm able to install using the included small screwdriver. Previously on the V1 trucks, it was really hard to get the screws in. I found on a lot of the base plates, and I almost had to use a larger screwdriver. And that being said, I like to get the 1 screw in, go in the screw across from it. Once I get those 2 in, getting the remaining 2 screws in, and then tightening everything up and making sure the base plates are flush. And these trucks install really nice. With the trucks on the board, I'm going to go ahead and swap out the bushings with the included upgraded baked bushings that come from Broken Knuckles P-Rep. And they come stock with these donut style bushings as well as metal washers. In the instructions, they recommend to use the 2 washers on the bottom and then one of the baked bushings with the large side facing upwards towards the hanger. Put the hanger back on with the included pivot cup. And then the last baked bushing with the large side facing down towards the hanger. And then the lock nut. These baked bushings have a really nice feel. They're responsive, but they also have a good amount of squishiness to them. And the biggest upgrade to the V2 trucks is that they have added clearance on the hangers from the kingpins. So the kingpin nuts don't catch on things when you grind. I'm going to go ahead and put the wheels on, and these come with included urethane wheels. I like to preload the wheels with the nut facing towards the outside, so I can pick up the wheel and the nut with the screw on top and then screw it all in. Makes it a lot easier, and also I found it makes it a little bit easier to thread on the axle first time. One of the last upgrades that I've noticed on all the V2 trucks that I've gotten so far is that the axles seem to be a lot more consistent and have a lot less play. And with the axle nuts on, it seems like the bearings wiggle around a lot less than the V1s that I've gotten in the past. Spinning the wheels and bearings for the first time, seems like these wheels have a really good amount of free spin time. Right away, I noticed that this setup takes a bit more energy just to get a kickflip, and the board rotates a bit slower, which does make it a little bit easier to catch the tricks in the air. But trying to do double flips or even triple flips can be really challenging. While the board does have medium to high kicks, I noticed that most of my tricks were on the lower side, which is good for more realistic tricks. But if you're trying to get really high pop, this board definitely is a little bit more challenging to get really high up. And overall, I did find the wide size of the board was really easy to land on, as well as to get a little bit more control from. And looking at the board side by side, you can definitely see the difference. 36mm P-Rep, broken knuckles, measures 36.29, and then this is a Pro Series Tech Deck at 34.06, and then the trucks at the widest point of the axles 34.20, and for the P-Rep broken knuckles is 35.69, and compared to a wooden Tech Deck Performance Series, the board measures just over 32mm at 32.3, and then the trucks measure 32.95. And this is just a standard Tech Deck at 31.80 for the board, and the trucks come in at 32.24. And this is a super old school original Tech Deck from I believe the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, at 24.95. And then for the trucks, 26.27. I'm going to measure this one more time just to make sure. 24.94. And definitely comparing the original or old school Tech Deck to the P-Rep broken knuckles, it's a huge difference. It's pretty much 1.5 of the original Tech Deck. I think it's crazy to see how much fingerboards and Tech Decks have changed over the years. And it's a lot easier to do tricks on these compared to the old ones, and it's a lot easier to be consistent with them as well. This is what the 36mm setup looked like after a little over a month of use. And you can see there is some wear to the graphic, but not a lot. Seems like the real wear on these does take a little while to wear in. And for the most part, I've been just grinding and doing tail slides and nose slides on rails and the ledge that is waxed. I'm sure if I did more stuff on the concrete, it would wear down really fast. But overall, I like the natural wear that it's going into, and it seems like it's going to wear over time. Overall, my review on this board is that I really like all of the trucks and the wheels and the bushing components, and the board seems really solid too. My personal preference would definitely be the 34mm or the 32mm, but the 36mm is a fun size to definitely try out. And I definitely noticed the wider trucks makes it a little bit easier to do grinds, as well as the wider board also makes it a little bit easier to get tail slides. And there's just more room to slide on, as well as where to put your finger. While this board is a little bit harder to pop really high, it does seem a little bit floaty, and that's due to the fact that it is under 16 grams, even though it is a wider board. Compared to my Obvious FB setup, which while it is at 34.5mm wide, it comes in at 17.42 grams. Wheels seem a bit softer than any of the other urethane wheels that I've used, and they don't squeak as much, but they do have a bit more grip than your standard plastic bearing wheels. And the bearings on the P-Rep don't have as nice free roll as the higher end urethane wheels. Overall, I think the 36mm complete setup from P-Rep is a great value, especially considering you get a nice board, as well as quality trucks and urethane wheels for less than the price of a set of nicer urethane wheels. It definitely will not be replacing my main setup from Obvious FB. That being said, it is less than half the price, and I would say it's a lot more similar to the new Tech Deck Pro Series. The biggest difference being that the Pro Series comes with an obstacle and is about double the price. That being said, they're very similar in performance. If you'd like to see a more in-depth comparison of these two on the channel, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you've not already seen the unboxing and my initial review of the brand new Tech Deck Pro Series, make sure to check that out. Thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe and turn on notifications for when I post the newest videos. And until next time, peace.